time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck.
Well, JJ told you yesterday it was like a championship game, probably the two best teams in the league playing in the semifinal. The preseason favorite, the regular season champions going at each other, and it was good. It was a slugfest. It was entertaining. It was big shots. It was missed shots, and it was tied coming down the stretch. But unfortunately for Lobo fan, Lobos did not score coming down the stretch in their last three possessions. Fresno State won it at the free throw line. New Mexico got the ball to Jalen De La Cerda a couple of times. She lost the ball in the lane once, missed a three-pointer the next time, and the end of the road, or at least probably the end of the road for the NCAA tournament came yesterday. Fresno State beats New Mexico, the fourth-seeded Fresno State, not sixth seed, as you will read in your Albuquerque Journal today, but the fourth seed beat New Mexico 77-72. Good morning to you. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. JJ was on the call yesterday. You got an entertaining one. Two teams back and forth, two pretty good basketball teams. And it was everything you said it was. They very much similar. Lobos hit big shots throughout the game. There weren't big spreads. There were swings, but it's not like one team was up by 14 and then the other one was. It was back and forth all night. You're up by 4, we're up by 3. You're up by 2, we're up by 4. And it was a good game. Fresno State just made more plays at the end and won the game.
Yeah, it came down to those final possessions. The Lobos missed a couple opportunities midway through the fourth quarter when they had a 3-point lead. They had some shots at the rim that they came up short on inside. It would have given them that little buffer, and that was all it was. Like 4 to 5 points was like the biggest lead you saw throughout the game. Now, Fresno State did start the game, jumped out to a early 9-3 lead. The Lobos responded, and that's what we saw all throughout the night. And just unfortunately for New Mexico, they never backed down. They played tough, but 2 of the final 3 possessions, they turned the basketball over. One of them was Hannah Cavender coming and surprising De La Cerda in the lane, stealing the ball. Second one, unfortunately, Latasia Duff just fell down under the basket as they were trying to run the play. And then you mentioned the shot. De La Cerda got the shot off in a 3-point game, just hit the rim, unable to sink it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good look, and I thought she was terrific yesterday. Big shot after big shot. Jaden De La Cerda, who was in foul trouble, had 23 points, but then had to sub in and out down the stretch when they had a foul, and they got 15 points out of Antonia Anderson, 10 points from Latasia Duff, and it came to an end. Look, Fresno State's nice, and I thought New Mexico had a chance down the stretch. Honestly, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I thought it's because they're tired. I'm going to guess Fresno State played a pretty similar schedule down the stretch, did they not? Right? This was what, 4 games in 6 days?
The Lobos played 8 games in 2 weeks. Fresno State played 3.
Ooh, okay, so that is a big difference. Well, and I'm going to guess Fresno State had a lot less canceled, right, throughout the season.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And it's tournament time. And they would have played a 7th seed Wyoming for a championship and a chance to go to the NCAA tournament, which is one of those things where you sit there and you look at it and you just go, man, opportunities. This team will play again. I'd love to tell you I think they have a good chance at an at-large. I just don't know that I can tell you that in all honesty.
I agree with you in that sentiment for sure. They have a chance to play in the WNIT, which WNIT, like NIT, they award bids to regular season champs that don't earn automatic qualifying bids to the NCAA tournament. And WNIT is taking place this season, 32-team field at 4 regional sites. And Mike Bradbury said after the game that his team's not done playing basketball.
Well, they're not. And I don't know how good the league is, JJ. I just don't. And there's almost zero. Did anybody play outside the conference a game that's worth it, that's going to give you a good feel?
There were,
because New Mexico,
Fresno State, Colorado State, some of those teams did play a little larger non-conference schedule, but I'm not sure if there's any games that really catch your attention on there.
All right. With the loss, New Mexico's net ranking, they're at 55. That's probably going to be outside the at-large, right? That's probably going to be outside the at-large. When it comes down to, they're 14-4. Is that right? Or is it 14-5? What's their number?
15-4.
All right, 15-4. So I guess they just didn't give a win on this. 10-2 on the road, 2-2 neutral, 2-0 at home, and 1-0 against that non-Division One team. So that doesn't count. So 15-4 overall, 14-4 according to the metrics. And you're up against SC teams that are 11-11, that are ranked higher. You're like, Jeff, they're 11-11, they're 500. Why would they be considered? Well, look who they played: Syracuse 13-8, Washington State 12-11, Mississippi State 10-9. All those teams with these ACC, Wake Forest 12-12. All these teams with these records. There's Missouri 9-11 with a 38 net rate. So I've told you for years, I don't understand the metrics. Like, I don't understand the computers and how they come up with them, and how you're going to sit there and tell me this 9-11 team is better than this 15-4 team. But that's what they tell you, and that's what they're going to go by. And NIT's a nice step, but the NCAA was really what they were shooting for, and it's a bummer. And afterwards, I know they were disappointed. Bradbury come on with you?
Yeah, he did. He came on post game, and it's one that this team went from the unknown to championship expectations. To winning the Mountain West regular season title, going in as a 1 seed, and they absolutely were hurt after that contest. But we knew going in that this was the toughest matchup on the board. Fresno State, they went shot for shot down the stretch and never backed down. And you got to really credit the players. This was a season in which they rallied together, somehow, some way, became a really good basketball team, and it kind of reignited a lot of people when it comes to this women's program, and especially looking at what does return. They should be pretty good again next year. And like I said, it's not done this year. You're going to get a chance to see them play again.
Talk to me about what this season meant a little bit. You follow them so closely because you do all of their games. I wondered going in where they were, right? And I think after everything that went down last year with the players leaving and the allegations against Bradbury, and I just wondered if Bradbury was going to make it. Is he the right guy? I know there was talk of him going, looking at other jobs, and there were people saying good, right? Did he turn it around? We've talked about their lack of success in the tournament. They won a game. It's the furthest he's gotten as a coach in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Did he establish himself now? Is that program in a different place, do you think, now than where it was when the season started?
I think it is. Now, there's always the won't last for long scenario if you're not able to back it up in this situation. But I think giving everything that they went through and the success, it's definitely going to ring differently going into next season, as you're assuming, at least when it comes to practicing over the summer, playing a full schedule non-conference into Mountain West play, that you're able to take a lot from this season with the amount of players that they're going to have returning. That group can really come together and battle again in what should be an easier road. That's going to be a different season, more games, tougher opponents in a non-conference, but I think it does ignite the fan base and gets them excited for, okay, as you said, it was tumultuous, what's really going on, what is the future of this program, and all of a sudden you got some excitement riding, a different level of hope, not a rebuild level of hope, but expectations going into next year.
See, where I sit, it's a complete swing, because last year, with all the allegations and players leave, that was last year, right?
Yeah.
Right, with the allegations against the coach, players leaving the program, you had that whole Twitter war with former players, and some players accusing Bradbury of this, and others saying no, he didn't do this, and I thought he lost it. I thought he lost the program. I really did. And how's he going to get it back? And this year, under circumstances under which nobody in the country had to go experience, I think he did an unbelievable job. And I told you, I think he's coach of the year, and I think I have the absolute other feel. Now, I don't know if that was player-led, but you've got to give the head coach credit on what they were able to do. And so I walk away this year with it. JJ, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I got a 180-degree different feel on him and that program, and I don't think it's fair. Addie and I were talking the other day about how it's never as good as you think it is, never bad as you think it is, and I'm certain that's the case here. But what I sat here and watched from afar last year was a program that I felt was imploding from inside, with all the accusations that were bubbling from within, the outside Twitter noise from former players and the battling, and I'm like, there's nothing good about this, right? Nothing good comes from this. And how does he survive? To watching a guy at the helm of a team that seemed so harmonious and came together. And while Lobo men's basketball has been complaining about everything that's going through and having their worst season ever, while Aggie basketball is struggling, and at least for the majority of their season, watching them pull it together, I walk away with a feeling like, damn, Bradbury did a hell of a job. Where did this come from?
I get that, because it was one where you're going to have moments where your frustration comes out. It's inevitable. There was a point in time where they spent 51 straight days on the road, and the situations of renting gyms, the 2 COVID pauses that they went through as a team, which puts you in isolation in your hotel room for X amount of days until you're able to figure out what happens after that. And even a talented team can go south in a situation like that, and that's not what we saw. And especially, from the players, just the energy, the effort, game in and game out, and they actually got better at basketball as the season went on. We talked about how challenging it is this year for teams to not have that regular practice time, and somehow, some way, they were a team that, all right, they came in talented, they didn't let fall apart, and by the time you got to what you saw yesterday, they're going toe-to-toe with another really good team in the conference, and we're in a one-possession game in the final seconds.
We said yesterday, the only way to really find out maybe how good this team is the NIT, right? They played against probably what's going to be an NCAA team in Fresno State and took them to the wire. If they would have gotten into the NCAA tournament, they're going to be probably a 15 seed, and we're not going to get an idea. So now they're going to go play like teams, most likely in the WNIT. I think there's still an outside shot for the NCAA, but I think more realistically the WNIT, and we'll see where that goes. Want your thoughts? Here's how to get to us today. 505-246-0610. That's the Quan's Auto Care hotline, 505-246-0610. Emails come at jeff@sportsanimalabq.com, jj@sportsanimalabq.com. On the Twitter, great follow, _JJ Buck. And on the Facebook, the OD in the AM. You can watch the show there via ProView Networks. Josh and J Paul are representing and producing for you there. And I want to hear from you. When we get back, we'll talk about the men, who is on the trip and who's not. It's not like they've given us any information. I guess you had to be on the plane to know who's traveled and who didn't. Lobo men played today in the conference tournament. I want to tell you about Coleman Vision, because they say seeing is believing. And I saw, and I absolutely believe. Back in the day, I was anchoring news in the morning. I couldn't see, guys. I couldn't. I had to wear glasses to drive, glasses to do everything. And I went to see Dr. Coleman, and I had a high degree of astigmatism, which is one of the reasons, really, I went to see him, and then they took care of me. JJ, their technology is unbelievable. It's cutting edge. They've become family. And Dr. Coleman's played a significant role in developing and testing the current technology that he uses, and it's used not only here in New Mexico, but it's used all around the world. All of it originated here at Siembieda Labs in New Mexico. I went in for my LASIK at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was out of there by about 3. And the minute I opened my eyes, the second I opened my eyes, I knew the difference. And I anchored the news the next morning at 5 o'clock with no glasses, no contacts, and I haven't worn them since, aside from some reading glasses, which happens as you get older. What they do is unbelievable. On any given day, you walk into his office, and you'll see athletes and firefighters and housewives and actors and just everybody. If you're thinking about LASIK, you think you're a candidate, I so strongly suggest Coleman Vision. What they do, how they do it, and who they are is going to impress you. Dr. Coleman is the best. Visit ColemanVision.com. That's ColemanVision.com, or give them a call. The number's 505-821-8880. That's 505-821-8880.
You've heard Rich Eisen on the radio.
Doesn't fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh! Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam one home.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside. Fly. Eagle.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped. Stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another one.
steal at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Hill, the senior top.
No! Ho, ho, ho!
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star
Things
games.
to address. You still have things to do. Yes, you made a decision to where, all right, you're parting ways with your head coach, but there were still games to be played. There's still a Mountain West tournament to attend, and you'd figure that you'd have someone discuss it. Where's the team, what the players do, and who's available. And we got the update late last time on the players that were out, and then this time apparently, as you said, it was because Grammer happened to be on the same plane, so you could go, all right, who's here? Oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm really disappointed in them. To your point, you're still playing basketball. You still want people interested in your program. I got it, man. Your coach is leaving. But you still got a roster, I think, full of players, 6 scholarships. I don't know, 6, 8. I mean, there's still work to be done. There's still you can't just go to answer media questions or talk to a radio show or a television station or a newspaper when you want to tell us about your summer camps and get people to play, or when you have a recruit that you just signed. It doesn't work that way. I'm just disappointed in it. Not for me. This isn't about, but it's for people who still care about Lowell basketball. We can't. They're not getting the content. I was talking to a buddy on Sunday. So are they still playing, dude? Like, I've heard nothing about them. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're going to play on Wednesday. Then they can pack it up and go home. I mean, I don't know. What's the spread tonight, JJ? I'll give them this. I think the players are going to be their fight. Because what I watched last week in the game at Colorado State, the players fought. And, who's going to be back next year, who's not, I have no idea. None. No idea. I think this is McQuatch Malawatch's last game or last run. 3rd team all-conference by the league, by the coaches yesterday. I say I think because he's a senior, but they've given you the option to come back. I mean, I guess he could come back, but I think they'll play hard. I think they'll compete.
Yeah, that's what we've seen out of this team, at least late in the season, is the players giving the effort, and it's not a good basketball team, playing hard but coming up well short in a lot of these games. And the thing you just want to know is, how are they doing? Because I get you don't want to be peppered with questions, but you're going to have to address it at some point in time. The fact that your coach is leaving, how are you handling it? What's the mindset? What is keeping you going? These things that, as we've talked about, Jeff, the little nuggets you get from players in rough patches or from a team help fans care, help fans go, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna ride with you through this point in time. People get it. There's the business side of college athletics. A business decision was made. A new coach is coming in, but you're still a fan for a reason. And there's a lot of fans out there that want to care, see it, understand, all right, this isn't a good basketball team, but there's nothing for them to latch onto.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of fans, a lot of Lobo. I mean, on our show, have you heard a lot of people call in and complain that Paul's leaving?
No.
All right, so I think people are still, your fans are still with you. Your fans want to support your program. I think your fans want to support the young men if they have an idea who these guys are, which they don't. But you're feeding them nothing. And JJ, what my fear is, that when the season's over, whether it's tonight or tomorrow night or the next, whenever, then it's going to come out via personal Twitter accounts, right? Then you're going to start having to interpret, well, what did he mean by thanks Lobo Nation, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have to start reading these cryptic tweets that are coming out, and that's where it's going to. I mean, I don't know. I just, and this isn't for me. Look, JJ, I'm going to be able to do this show with or without them. We've been doing this show for 12 and a half years. We win awards with or without them. We people are listening to our show with like it's not for you and me, but it's for the fan who has been asking me about him, and I'm like, I just don't know. And I just, to your point, you can't just shut her down and I don't know. I'm just really surprised this is the way they opted to do things.
And just nothing, like no quotes going into the Mountain West tournament, this game against Fresno State. We think that 2 players are coming back. We'll see once they announce the rosters, and we'll get a look at who's on the floor at the Thomas and Mack Center. But until then, yeah, it's assuming, looking ahead to the future, and just wondering what's next.
Yeah, we're assuming because they changed the headline now in the journal. 4th seed. It's on the electronic version. It says 4th seed. Assuming that Vegscheider and Valdir Manuel are back, and good reporting by Jeff. I mean, gosh, if it wasn't for Jeff, sometimes, he's been great. But he happened to be on their plate, Like, he happened to watch them all board with C. Didn't anybody check in for him early enough that they could not get a C boarding pass, for crying out loud? Or I mean, I know it's $15 extra or whatever to get him all these guys got to, Valdir Manuel at 6'10's got to squeeze it. And you're the guy sitting at the window going, oh, no, here comes that big dude. Anybody sitting there? And
He's a skinny guy.
He's 6'10", dude, sitting in that middle seat next to you. You're like, I had it made until the very end. Oh, it's that guy. Right, I just
up X.
Come on, man. Can't you guys and everybody right 24 hours out and go check in. Oh, I got B13. I got B42. How'd you get B? Right. I mean, come on. But I don't know. All right. So what does it mean? Valdir Manuel's back and Vegscheider. Like, honestly, JJ, they played their guts out the other day. No idea why these guys didn't play. Right. I told you what I heard. But nothing official. No, it's just a big secret. They just nothing to see here. 4 guys didn't play. Go on, move on.
Well, at least having Valdir back, you have a post player to go at Robinson, and they did play him well in those really 2 regular season games. They kept Robinson off the board, but it was the backcourt that got going, and that's Fresno State all across the board the final week of the season, beating Boise State, taking Utah State to the wire. Everyone is in a pretty good groove at the moment for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they're in a good spot. If you're looking for that dark horse and outside the top 5, right? Because I don't know that you can you call Nevada a dark horse? I don't think you can. Do you feel that way? I mean, I know there's the top 4 that are vying for NCAA spots, but Nevada could win this thing too, right?
Yeah, but it would be Fresno State.
Yeah.
Then you go into a matchup with Colorado State. After this is the Utah State side of the bracket. So,
yeah, Fresno State's got a lot to play for, and Justin's got them playing a lot better coming down the stretch. 505-246-0610. We get back. The all-conference team, the official one, not the media one. The official one came out yesterday. We'll go through that with you. It looks a little different than the media one. I'm not telling you one's right or one's wrong. I'm just telling you one's different than the other, and one's official and one's not. So we'll get into that when we come back. Want your thoughts? I got emails already at jeff@sportsanimалabq.com. We'll get those for you as well. Fellas, how you feeling? I know. There's a few truths for you as you roll through your Wednesday now. Men get older, and as they do, things like fatigue and low T and hair loss are natural. Really good chance that something happens to you in that regard. But the beauty is you can battle nature with New Male. New Male is right here in Albuquerque. And if you're carrying a few extra pounds, you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, or maybe just you're all the time tired, I suggest you call New Male. They lead the way in testosterone replacement. And for years, guys have been benefiting from this cutting-edge technology. The number is 505-652-1688. That's area code 505-652-1688, or visit Numale, NUMALE.com. Numale is convenient. They're right here in Albuquerque, and the process is comfortable. It starts with your first phone call, goes all the way through the treatment. Numale guides you through the process, and the best part is the results are absolutely real. 505-652-1688. Don't put it off, guys. Take care of you. Visit Numale.com or call 505-652-1688 and feel better.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham and it.
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer.
boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji. Into Watson with the jam.
Far with the ball. Again. Another steal by Domino Lovato. And here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham. Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say.
Do you know where they are in the net rankings? Any idea?
302.
304.
322.
Yeah, 304. Hello, Micah.
$1.
Micah's back. Look at what Micah's wearing. Is that a Dak jersey you're wearing? Ooh. Damn, you got paid.
No wonder the Cowboys could pay Prescott. He's out there buying
Exactly. You're out buying new jerseys. Did you just buy that thing or what?
No, I've had it.
You just never wore it?
He was unsure, a lot like Dallas. He's like, I don't know about this guy.
All right. No, I'm down with you. I mean, whatever it is. How do you feel about that? He's your quarterback now. You good with the whole big? Do you love it? I don't know why Cowboy fans wouldn't love it. I think there's everything about it to love. For Cowboy fan, I mean, Dak got everything he wants. Dak got everything he wants. But Cowboy fan, you got your quarterback, and you didn't get killed in regards to the whole cap space thing. And it's not your. I mean, I think you're fine. Except for, like one guy told us yesterday, except for it's going to cost $5 more beer when you go to Jerry World, which he might be right. You might make it all back up in beer.
Yeah. Got to pay that man's contract that guaranteed money.
Yeah. Any idea where Fresno State is in the net ranking? Is your opponent tonight? Any idea? What would you guess?
127.
Yeah. They're 186. So right in the middle. But just for placement and perspective, any idea where New Mexico State is in the net? Because it's such a weird season for New Mexico State, and I think, what are they, 7-7 overall? Any idea where they are?
I'm going to say they are 177.
Okay, that's actually really, really close. 181. That's really, really good. That's ding, 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 ding. Within 10.
Come on down.
Yeah. Without going over. Yeah. And this is where I just don't understand it. I mean, not that I don't think that's right. How did they do that? They're 7-7. They're 0-0 against quad 1, 0-0 against quad 2, 0-2 against quad 3, and 7-9 against quad 4. And so, how is that not a mid 200 team? Not that I'm telling you I think they stink. This is where I look at the numbers and I have no idea. I don't get the metric at all.
Yeah, it takes some time to look at the equations, what is factored in, and that's why we have Jerry Palm come on Thursday to help with these conversations, figure it out, what teams need to be doing, what matters on the team sheets. That's his job.
Yeah. All right, Mountain West All-Conference men's team came out yesterday. The All-Conference team, first team, is the same. And as I told you, this was the easiest All-Conference 5 to pick in recent memory for me. And so it's the exact same as it is in the media. By the way, can we give a shout-out to Jay Pohl and Josh producing on the TV side? They came in early this morning. Already had breakfast. What's up, boys? Glad you're there. You can watch the show, ProViewNetworks.com. Oh, put your mask on before you flip the camera on. That's right. That's right. And you can watch it on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. JJ, Alston, Roddy, Sherfield, Matt Mitchell, and Nemus Keita was easy. The difference is and this is voted by the coaches, the official league all-conference team has Matt Mitchell as the player of the year from San Diego State. The media had Nemus Keita. I don't have a huge problem with it. My guy was Alston, but I'm fine with any of those guys.
You know, this situation where the coaches have a track record, 99.9% of the time they're going to vote for who they believe is the best player on the team that wins the regular season title. And that's exactly what we saw happen. And we thought maybe just games played would factor in, and Matt Mitchell missing a couple games with a knee injury. Maybe they will favor Keita or Alston in this situation, but it was status quo when it comes to that. And then my takeaway is, all right, if you believe that is indeed the best player, then vote for him. But it just feels like it's more of the same in terms of they just look at, all right, who won the league, who's our best player, that's player of the year.
Yeah, I don't know that I've got a huge issue with any of it. Defensive player of the year, they agreed on Keita. Freshman of the year, they agreed on Marcus Williams. Newcomer of the year, they agreed on Grant Sherfield. I don't believe they agreed on sixth man of the year. The official one is Alfonso Anderson from Utah State. And then they didn't agree on coach of the year. Coach of the year from the media was Nico Medved, and the official one is Brian Dutcher, San Diego State. You never vote a guy, it feels like, who and maybe this is an award carries over from last year. They win the league again. What are they? They're JJ 20-4, if I'm not mistaken, overall. They are 50-6 in the last two seasons. It's hard to sit here and say the guy who won the league shouldn't be coach of the year, right?
Yeah, that's always the one. Like, do you give credit for a coach that is doing what is expected, living up to the hype, getting the job done, or do you look at a Nico Medved, which I think a lot of people might have been leaning to at Colorado State, kind of blew past expectations with it, and I don't think you ignore good coaches for doing their job, and this is what it's expected, and that's what we see happen when it comes out with the coaches voting, is they go best coach, best player on the team that won the league.
McQuatch Malawatch, third team, and that's good. What are you making? And there's a lot of noise and a lot of people in Lower California who are very, very nervous. There is a lot of noise of Brian Dutcher to Minnesota as a head coach. His dad coached there. The way I understand it, the only reduced buyout in his contract is to go to Minnesota. This is a weird one now. I don't recall in my lifetime anybody saying, "Yep, I'm leaving San Diego on my own consciousness. I want to move to Minnesota because I like it." I mean, leaving San Diego to go to Minnesota, you better buy a lot of parkas. But he'll get paid. He can play. I got a lot of thoughts on it, but there seems to be some teeth to this.
It's one that you initially say, no way. There's no way this could happen. And then you start learning about everything you just said, what's in his contract, the connections he have, and it's, how much does home mean? With everything that Brian Dutcher has done in his career, what does that place mean to him? Because he has the cush job. It's San Diego. It's the atmosphere. It's the program that he and Steve Fisher have put together that he has rolling at a ridiculously high level. So how much does home really matter?
So does he have an obligation, not to the fans, right, but to Steve Fisher? He was with Steve for a lot of years, and Steve made him the coach in waiting and handed over this really, really nice program. probably the second best program in the Western United States. Shut up, Jeff. No, really. Gonzaga and San Diego State have been the two most consistent programs in the Western United States, more so than UCLA and Arizona, and even Oregon. And it's San Diego. And I'm sure the Big Ten and Minnesota can pay him probably double what he's making at San Diego State, okay? But does he have an obligation to Steve Fisher to continue what's going on there after a couple of years? And I ask you that in all sincerity. He doesn't have an obligation to the fans, to maybe even, I don't know, does he to the university for making him coach in waiting? But to Steve Fisher, who kind of built this thing, because who's next in line in that thing? Is it Justin Hudson? Is it Tim Shelton? Or do you go completely outside the family, and now you're out of the whole Steve Fisher, made and played in San Diego thing?
I don't feel like he has an obligation to Steve Fisher. How do you feel? What are you hearing?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. All I do know is it's hard to win in Minnesota. Ricky Pitino didn't win there. Tubby Smith didn't win there. I remember, do you know who was at Gonzaga before Mark Few? Do you know who it was who started that whole Gonzaga thing?
Don Munson?
Don Munson. Dan Munson went to Minnesota from Gonzaga, and he couldn't win there. He's now at Long Beach State. I mean, he's in a fine spot. Long Beach is beautiful. It's nice. The weather's good, but he's playing in the Big West, and it didn't work there. Clem Haskins won there, but he had a cheat. Remember, the program got put on probation. No. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, the history. I'm giving you facts. Facts don't lie, JJ. I'm just telling you the way it's been. The reality is, Minnesota's a really hard place to win. Now, it's home, but you're competing again in that toughest league in America. You're up against, I think Indiana's going to come back. Michigan's great. Michigan State is great. Wisconsin's great. I mean, you look at the programs that are in that league, and look what Illinois has become. They've now become a number 1 seed. Like, that is somebody around here about 10 years ago once said, you don't mess with happy. You're living in San Diego, coaching at San Diego State, making a pretty good living, probably can get a raise. I get it. It's home, and it's colder than Pimp's Heart up in Minnesota, and you're living in San Diego again. You don't have a lot of sweaters. Your hair is perfect. You got it pretty good, man.
He does, and 99 out of 100 people are going to pick San Diego in this situation, and you wonder, is he that one that would consider it? Like, what does it mean? How much does that really matter to him? And also, was it something that he wants to do? Does he want to leave that legacy as is and not go in there and then potentially, as you said, fail with what he has right now?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch over the next week or two, because that's and then a plum job opens up in San Diego, right? And who fills that? When we come back, The Athletic put out a story yesterday about the short list for Eddie Nunez. It's really not any surprise. I'll get into what they put out. It's the opening drive. 505-246-0610 is how to get to us, or Jeff or JJ at sportsanimалabq.com.
Well, if you need to get ready for the upcoming summer season, or really, you know what, just get back to feeling good about yourself after everything that we've gone through, let me tell you about F45 training. F45 is functional training. It's a mix of circuit and high-intensity training in a class atmosphere. They're open 7 days a week, so if your schedule's busy during the week, you can catch up on the weekend. Check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app, and I love the different classes. It's a new class, a new style every single day. You're going to go from maybe more cardio-based workouts to strength training workouts. And this is a thing, for me, I'm not someone that I enjoy just spending 60, 90 minutes on an exercise bike or on a treadmill. So that's what I love about high-intensity training. You're doing mixes of exercises with weights, with barbells, etc. And it's a lot of fun. And the 45 is for 45 minutes. You're in and out, no wasted time. You're going to get a great workout, and you're not going to have to just be walking around a gym going, what do I do next? It is all set up for you when you walk inside. I love the monitors on the wall too, which remind you of the exercises, let you know which station is next. And yes, it is still COVID-safe practices, and that is why you need to book your classes if they can manage class size so you can go in there, feel comfortable, and focus on your workout. Certified trainers in place every class, and don't worry about your fitness level. It is for everyone that wants to kickstart their fitness or challenge themselves to go to another level. F45 is located at 5920 Holly Northeast. Really good access right there, Paseo and I-25. You can sign up for your 7-day free trial on the app, no strings attached. See how you feel, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to feel good when you show up at F45 training. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Dell's semi-annual sale for business has arrived. Enjoy.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this. They're going to go score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack. Davina Lovato up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Ramos wants another!
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores. Got into it. And had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer for Murillo. Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on and goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, get it! Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Get it stripped. Carion stripped him. Compiling the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it.
Finishing the thought on the Minnesota coaching job, which, by the way, isn't open yet, but I think everybody believes it will be. I think Ricky Pitino's out. Niko Medved's been mentioned. Craig Smith at Utah State, who is from Minnesota, is also being mentioned. And their godfather, they come off the Tim Miles tree. Is there really a Tim Miles tree? Is being mentioned for the New Mexico job. There's a lot of names that are up there, but San Diego State fans really, really nervous that Brian Dutcher may leave. I was reading somebody telling me that the Dutcher and the Fisher family are very close, and Brian Dutcher is the caretaker of what Steve Fisher built. They may offer $2.5 million to go coach at Minnesota, and that may be enough to get him to go. Look, everybody got to get paid. Everybody wants to get paid, and Dutch has got to be what? I mean, he's got to be 60, right? I mean, I don't know how many years he's got left, but if he was with Fisher for 25 years, 30 years, whatever it was. But this one's interesting. This one's really, really, really interesting. So we'll see. 505-246-0610. JJ, did your phone start blowing up? I was already watching it, but my phone was blowing up, telling me about the BYU-Gonzaga game. Did anybody catch BYU-Gonzaga yesterday? Because the Zags had to come from double digits back for the first time since conference play started. They beat BYU 88-78 and kept their string of double-digit wins alive and won the West Coast Conference. And they're really good. Like if you watch Gonzaga, Jalen Suggs is a buttery smooth freshman, and a Kispert's terrific. They're big. Timmy's terrific, but just no panic when they were down double digits.
And that is a classic. Don't send the tweet at halftime. Classic overreaction game where, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like, slow your roll. Talk to me at the end of 40 minutes. And that's exactly what happened. Gonzaga responded, finished the season undefeated. Yeah, there's at times maybe they're not tested as much in West Coast Conference play, but it hasn't hurt them when they get to the NCAA tournament. This is one of the best teams that Mark Few has had, and it goes back to that true freshman that you just mentioned, giving them a different dynamic in the backcourt, a shot creator, a tough shot maker. And it was, BYU's up, fantastic. Talk to me at the end of the game.
Suggs is so good, like so good. And I get the commentary. Who do they play? What do they play? What league do they play? All right, that's fine. I don't recall them turning down the Pac-12, by the way. Do you? Do we recall them turning down the invitation to play in the Big 12? Let me just give you an idea of who they played non-conference. Kansas, ranked 6th. Auburn, 11th ranked West Virginia, 2nd ranked Baylor. 3rd ranked Iowa. By the way, they beat all of them by double digits. Let me reiterate that to you. Baylor. Well, they didn't play Baylor. They had Baylor scheduled. They didn't beat Baylor by double digits. They had Baylor scheduled. That game got COVIDed out, and they tried that a couple of times. Also on that schedule was Virginia, who's ranked 16th in the country. Like they beat them all. They beat Kansas 102-90. They beat Auburn 90-67. They beat West Virginia 87-82. That's single digits. They beat Iowa 99-88 with Luka Garza. They beat Virginia 98-75. So take this whole they don't play anybody and put it away. They play anybody who will play them in the non-conference schedule. And in this odd year where nobody was able to play games, they found ways. They played games. They rescheduled that damn Baylor game, I think, 3 times and before it got called off. Their conference is not the ACC. By the way, their conference is not as garbage as everybody wants to tell you it is. There's some pretty decent teams each year in that league. There's usually a St. Mary's or a BYU who's a tournament caliber team. And then Pepperdine got better this year, and there's years that Santa Clara is good. But this whole they don't play any, does November, December not count? They play those games, right?
If you need to be reminded how good Gonzaga is, college basketball isn't for you.
Do you look at social media? I know you do. Did you see where everybody was going? I mean, if you were to listen to social media last night, they should be a 4 seed.
That's fine. Talk to me in March. Yeah, they haven't won a championship yet, but that team is always making runs, and the West Coast Conference isn't holding them back. And if you need that reminder, just go back and look at what they've done.
Yeah, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. I will give you that list that the Athletic came out with as far as New Mexico coaching candidates when we come back. It's not going to surprise you. I don't know how in-depth they really went on this, but I'll let you know what they're saying. It's the opening drive. We're on ProView Networks. J. Pole and Josh are producing there. Micah's home. Good to see Micah back. Or is that Dak Prescott? Boy, you got paid. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinal fly. To the other side, provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcats! Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown, Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Hand off to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Billy coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish. What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Dunk!
voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is The Opening Drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck.
But JJ was on the call last night as the Lady Lobos lose in the semifinals in Las Vegas in the Mountain West Conference Tournament 77-72 to Fresno State. We will get into that. I got a bunch of emails from you regarding that. Lobo men go tonight against Fresno State. You listen to it over on News Radio KKOB. 5 o'clock tip. Who is on the roster and who is not? We'll get into that as well. Good morning to you, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Radio silence out of Lobo men's basketball. JJ, as the team goes and plays tonight, and I think everybody expects, and I do, I expect they lose tonight. I think they put up a fight, and it ends tonight, and whatever. But the radio silence out of there, it sounds like Rod Brown and Byron Matos did not make the trip. Valdir Manuel and Kurt Wegscheider did. All four of those players didn't make the trip to Colorado for the regular season finale. And the only reason we know that is Jeff Grammer, the Journal, evidently was on the same flight, and he was able to check off who's there. Yeah, he's there, he's not. So I guess that's who's available. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to play or not play or start or not start. I guess we'll see. But good reporting by Jeff by being on the plane.
That's what we know right now with Lobo men's basketball team. All we can really say is expect them to play hard, but come up short just again. They haven't been able to turn that corner. They're a team that has struggled all season long. You appreciate the effort in such a challenging year. It just hasn't been good basketball, and you're unfortunately expecting more of the same against Fresno State team that out of nowhere is going into the Mountain West tournament feeling fantastic about themselves. They were the team that showed up, and that's what I appreciate. There were a lot of tough things that happened this week. All I heard last week from the teams on the men's side, well, most of them, if you're looking at Boise State, Colorado State, what Utah State had to do at the very end, it was a lot of complaining and finger pointing. Oh, it's someone else's fault. It's not our fault we lost the game. It's the Mountain West fault for playing these games and scheduling these games. A lot of complaining. You know who didn't complain? Fresno State. Showed up, got a big win against Boise State, pushed Utah State, is now taking a ton of confidence with them to Vegas, and it's definitely a team to watch out for, being on the side of the bracket with Colorado State and Utah State.
Yeah, I look, there's a lot of that, and we'll see what happens today. All right, the coaching search is on, right? And Eddie's usually pretty stealth about this, and as he should be. So the Athletic put out a list of 3 names that they say are on Eddie Nunez's short list, and it's the 3 names that the top 3 names you heard weeks before this happened. Frank Martin, who is currently the coach but on the hot seat at South Carolina. And will he get fired? The only way that works is if he gets released, because I think his buyout makes that just untenable. Tim Miles is been said, is it his job to lose? The former head coach at Colorado State and at Nebraska. He's got close ties with David Williams, who is the deputy athletic director at UNM, who is a basketball guy who is with Eddie leading that search. And then Damon Stoudemire at Pacific, which, again, I think it's going down at Arizona. I think you do too, and I think Damon Stoudemire makes a lot of sense at Arizona. And by the way, I mean, how great has Damon Stoudemire been at Pacific? I think he was coach of the year in the league last year, but it's not like they're ripping up that league either. So no surprise names there, right? I think you and I both like Frank Martin. I think you and I are both in the same boat. We're just uninspired. I mean, Tim Miles is a fine hire. JJ, you're fine. It's fine or nothing. I mean, we're going to go back. I mean, okay. He finished, 9th, 8th, 5th, 4th, and 4th in the Mountain West in his 5 years, and went to one NCAA and got paid. And Nico Medved and Craig Smith are having nice runs, and they're off of his tree. But by every account, really nice guy, really good guy. But I mean, just what inspires you there? So, and then the Stoudemire thing. I don't know if you saw the report, but there's really zero surprise, huh?
Yeah, no, and those are names that we discussed weeks ago in this conversation. The one that I don't necessarily see the connection as Stoudemire. What is the pop there? Recruiting wise, okay, you look at his history as a player, but he's been below average at Pacific. Now you can look at recently what has he done. It's not like he went over there and it was a powerhouse program. We all understand that. But outside of Frank Martin, Those are fine names, but not ones that I think really intrigue a lot of people.
Frank Martin is struggling. They just got beat on Saturday by Kentucky 92-64. And Paul Feinbaum, who you relate to everything that is SEC football, but certainly he discusses SEC basketball as well. This is 2 days ago. He says, I don't know all the details in terms of what it would cost, but I do vividly remember when he was hired, that was a big-time hire. He was at Kansas State. We're talking about Frank Martin at South Carolina. And it says he had some amazing players there. It was like a coup. You can't just scrape away the Final Four appearance because he went there with South Carolina. He says, but if you do, he's really virtually nothing to show for his run at South Carolina. He says, I don't know where Ray Tanner, who's the athletic director there, is right now, but there doesn't seem a lot of sentiment in favor of Frank. And I say that because I don't know how well you know him. He's one of the most likable guys you've ever met, but it's hard to stick with something. It's one thing if you're fighting down to the wire, but that was a disaster the other day, end quote. So if they let him go, and there isn't a buyout, and he will get buyout money. And this is where, how do you afford him? That whole conversation comes in. This is where his relationship with Eddie would come in. Eddie played for him in high school. Frank Martin had incredible success at Kansas State and made a Final Four run at South Carolina. He can recruit. He's a name. He can coach. I think he would excite this fan base, and he's had success. Would he fit into your pay scale because he's being supplemented by the payout money that he's getting from South Carolina?
And also, in that regard, what is he looking at next? Was Frank Martin still a candidate for a power conference job coming off what happened at South Carolina, or would this kind of be his trajectory, taking a job like the University of New Mexico? And a couple of the coaches that I do like in this search have jobs right now. Another one of those guys that you only are in the conversation is if he's fired, that's Archie Miller at Indiana. But are they willing? They have to pay him a lot of money, like $10 million, to go away. So I'm not sure.
Indiana does.
Indiana does. So I'm not sure if they're going to make that move. But those are some of the names that really intrigue me at this point in time, and they have jobs.
Yeah. I don't know how long. Archie Miller. The Big Ten tournament starts now, and so Archie Miller could be done any day now. The SEC tournament the same way with Frank Martin. I think over the next few days, a lot's going to be told. I got to believe the athletic directors at both Indiana and South Carolina have made up their minds what they're going to do. The only thing that really hurts that is a deep run in their conference tournaments, right? And I can't see a scenario where I think Indiana's going to make a deep run with everything that's in their tournament. I guess South Carolina can. I just don't see it. I hear a lot of you saying, Jeff, both these guys failed at these programs. Well, Frank Martin went to the Final Four at South Carolina. Now, it hasn't been good the last couple of years. Archie Miller, JJ, Elite Eight with Dayton?
And that's what I really look at with Archie Miller, his time at Dayton from 2011 to 2017. He had 4 NCAA tournament appearances, went to the NIT once, was 139-63 before taking over Indiana. Now, his overall record is above 500 at Indiana, but he's below 500 in conference play. So that's what I really look at with Archie is, Dayton is a very comparable job.
Very comparable. Yeah, very comparable. Yeah, passionate fan base, a mid-major with a long history, passionate fan base. I like the Archie Miller thing too. I haven't heard it anywhere but out of your mouth. Now that doesn't mean it's not there. I like it a lot. And again, the Tim Miles thing, and I know he wants the job, and I've been told by 2 coaches whom I know that he's going at it hard, like aggressively. He's been looking at this for months. He wants this job. Him and Dave are tight, and so he has that in with Dave Williams. And Dave, I think, has David Williams is the deputy athletic director at UNM. He is Eddie Nunez's number 2 guy, and if anybody's got Eddie's ear in this, it would be Dave. And so they're both, from what I understand, they're both South Dakota guys, or North Dakota guys.
It was NDSU for Tim Miles.
Yeah. And was that where David was with him?
Well, that's the Dakota.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, but they might be from South Dakota, but he coached at North Dakota. But they've got a tight connection. Why is it? You know how you get mind blocks? Like I have two. The affect and effect, I can never in my mind, and I've gone over it a million times, and for whatever reason, I cannot differentiate. And they're two completely different states. The Dakotas and which school was which and who went where, and like those are two mind blocks. Literally, they're blind spots for me. I literally can't get through them. You have anything like
just
that?
One giant state up there, Dakota.
No, I know they're different, and I know I consciously try to figure it out. I just it's like affect and effecting for me. I just can't figure it out.
Yeah, I always have to double check every once in a while. I'm like, oh, let's Google the definition of this real quick. Okay, got it.
Yeah. All right. If you want to get in on that, and I'm going to start getting to some of your emails when we get back, because I know you got a lot of them in there. You can at 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Your emails, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Find us on the Twitter. It's _JJ Buck. And you can watch the show on the Facebook, and a lot of people are doing that, man. It's funny. I get every once in a while, I can't believe you're wearing that, or, man, what are you looking at when you leave me alone, man. I'm at the kitchen table doing award-winning radio. JJ, what room are you in? Is that like your office room? What is that?
It is my spare bedroom.
Your spare bedroom / office room. All right. It's where.
And I'm in the studio.
And Micah Dak Prescott is in the studio. And so, look, but there's Alden. There's that cup of coffee, like, right at the camera. So I can't even see
J-Pole, bro. J-Pole.
Yeah, there's no Alden. Well, I mean, I couldn't see. There's J-Pole, and there's Josh, producing on the TV side. And you can watch us on the ProView Network's their YouTube channel, 3 o'clock every day.
Very busy people these days. Very busy.
They look very busy. It's a good-looking quarter zip you got there, J-Pole. That's nice. It looks good on you. Actually, it's really good. All right, emails when we get back. I want to hear from you, 246-0610. Take care of your vehicle, boys and girls. You spend a lot of money on a new vehicle, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on a new vehicle. And then you get out on the roads and you drive, and all those things make it look bad. Rock chips, salt, bugs, dust, tree sap. It all attacks your paint job. On the Spot Automotive Detailing are the experts in applying the ceramic coating to protect your vehicle. This ceramic coating lasts 5 years. 5 years, and it's the best protection for your vehicle's paint job. On the Spot Automotive Detailing doesn't just clean your vehicle, they protect it. Oh, but do they clean it? Inside and outside, when they're done, the stink, the smell, the pet hair, the stains, it's all gone. And by the way, they come to you. Whenever, wherever it is convenient, they bring it to you in your driveway, in your parking lot. It's the greatest thing going. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing, 505-859-2859. 505-859-2859, or visit them at otsdetailing.com.
Sometimes a hiring freeze happens.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Coming in soon, double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high, window, scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish. What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go, they've got a shot, they have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good! What a three that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Dunk you Lusses. Dunk
you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Played over to Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With this first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Duma Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
He scored!
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did! Oh my God!
Bakes it in.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes it.
Ramos. Nice jump stop through the...
Played with gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a...
Hill, little step, high window. With a...
All right, this is from Ren. I saw this too. He says, Jeffrey, the referee, last night watching the news, the little anchorette told me, what a bummer. The Lady Lobos lost, and they were our only hope in Vegas. He says, did Lobo men basketball forfeit? WTF. It's from Ren. I saw that too. Tessa Mentos on Channel 4 teased that they were our only hope. I'm thinking, gosh, did the men just mail it in? I guess they've gone radio silence. I guess there's no hope. Is that what I'm
How
being
much
told
hope do you have, Jeff? How much hope do you really have?
Yeah, I thought they were our only hope because, it really plays into my point that I was telling you earlier. The radio silence coming out of there. That the anchor, not that sports anchor, the anchor on the news it's been so out of sight, out of mind. You've heard nothing about Lobo
even
men's
if
basketball.
they say something, even if you just get a press conference,
yes,
I don't think you're more hopeful.
No, but you're kind of like she forgot that they're even playing again. I think right there's no hope for them. Like they're our only hope.
Where is Obi-Wan Kenobi when you need him?
Aggies don't count, and men's Lobo men don't count. They were our only hope. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, huh. All right. I guess the dudes are done. Like, did they get on the plane?
Still three other teams playing in Vegas in the state of New Mexico.
It was interesting. This is from James. He says, champion women defeated. Jeff, what hurts more? Mountain West Conference champion Lady Lobos losing to a 4 seed, or knowing you would have been facing a 7 seed playing their 4th game in 4 days for the NCAA berth? Right?
It's a 7 seed because the 4 seed doesn't matter if you watch Fresno State at all. Well, it's not a normal 4 seed.
Yeah. All right. Wayne, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care hotline. Good morning, Wayne.
Jeff, hey, JJ, I am very affected by your conversation today, and so it's led me to want to talk about practical economics. I just find it to be really impractical for a poor state with a humble university like UNM to have now gone through 2 buyouts over the last 4 years with coaches in the men's program. I find it impractical to keep hearing numbers that are beginning to float around and to the tune of $800,000 or possibly $1 or even $1.2 million to lure a new coach in at market value. I think it's impractical to assume that paying more for a coach is going to get us a good and winning coach more quickly for the program. But I do find it to be practical that we should be floating lower numbers around, modest ones even, perhaps in the $500,000 or even less range, just to solicit people to apply for the job. I really don't think that there's any real discussion of who's applied for the job or who really wants it, or even better, who wants to be here, and they really don't care if they make $800,000 or $1 million. They just want to be here to coach our guys. So I think the bottom line is, I think we should, if we're going to float numbers, they need to be lower ones. We need to get some real applicants and talk about real applicants. And finally, I think it's kind of sad that in our discussion of local people from New Mexico that might be good coaches, the only names are a few former players that might not even be practical for the job, when I think that there's other people who could coach our guys for a reasonable rate. So I still find a lot of impractical in the discussion, and I do think that we can figure this out, like you've said, but I think that at this point we're heading down the path towards spending a lot of money for more uncertainty.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it. So practicality, I think it is practical because it's going to be applicable. We're talking about these because this is where it's going to go. And JJ, like, I appreciate Wayne and his passion for this, and I guess there is a train of thought where that makes sense. It's not going that way, and I've been asked, cut that guy off. Why do you even let that guy go? I'm going to let him go. I mean, I'm going to let people give their opinion. It's not going that way. I don't know why Michael Cooper or Kenny Thomas would be any less qualified to coach than some of the guys that he threw out that are coaching high school. Michael Cooper coached at the D-League level, at the college level, so why would he be less qualified than the high school coaches that Wayne threw out? Bottom line is they're going to go market value on this, and it might be high end of market value, and market value is in that $800,000 range. Does that guarantee anything? It doesn't guarantee a damn thing. You're going to go. You're going to pay for qualifications, and a guy who's coached and won at the NCAA level is going to demand a higher salary than a guy who's coached at the 4A, 5A level in New Mexico high school basketball.
And it's a situation that everyone needs their opportunity, but if you look around Division I basketball, very few guys take that first step from high school coach to Division I coach. We saw it with Tony Sanchez, UNLV football, making that jump. I can't recall any recently, at least in the basketball side.
Don Flanagan is the one. I mean, women's
Don
basketball.
Flanagan, and you bring it up. No, where are you? Yes, Lobo men's basketball needs some work. but there is a stronger foundation with the overall program and what someone can do with said resources and fan support, to where do you need to take that big of a step back? Everyone needs an opportunity, but it's not going to be a high school coach getting his first Division I job as a head coach at the University of New Mexico.
Yeah, and look, I appreciate where Wayne's coming from as a sheer economic thing. I think I understand it, but it's not where it's going to go. Like, we could have that conversation all at once, and I think Wayne is completely convicted in what he believes. It's just, it's not going that way. So it is practical to have these conversations, because it's practically and realistically where it's going.
And he wasn't, going down the high school coach road today. He's just talking about lowering the salary. But you're already at a pretty manageable salary level for D1 basketball coaches where you sit right now in the Mountain West Conference, with what Paul Weir was making. And if you're frustrated, then you're frustrated with the collegiate model as a whole, because this is the game, this is the business, this is where it's gone to. And what the salaries are for coaches, buyouts, contracts, what happens when you agree to a contract and then you get to a point where you feel that person's not living up to it and you have to move on. It's not a clean break, and that's the game of college athletics. And if you have a problem with it as a whole, well, unfortunately, that's not changing anytime soon.
All right. Hey, I want to be clear on something too. When I told you earlier, we're just talking about Tessa Mentis last night, saying they're our only hope, and to me that just shows out of sight, out of mind, and it just the radio silence coming out of you. And I don't put this on Paul, to be honest with you. Paul Weir made his statement. Anytime Paul sits in front of a mic right now, and it's probably going to happen. Well, it's going to happen tonight post game. Everything's going to come down to him, and I don't have a problem with Paul not holding a press conference and making it about him as opposed to making it about these kids. Actually, I'm okay with it. He spoke once. He has spoken since the decision, correct? Or has he?
Not in. I don't think not in a press conference setting. Like, I'm with you. I don't have a problem that at that moment he's like, hey, I want my staff to get some attention. I thought that was fine. The players, but you figure you're gonna have to answer some questions. But
yeah, but
so far,
for the program itself, I put this more, on the program itself. And you can say, well, Jeff, he's still the head of the program, and that's right. I think somebody should be out there talking about the game. The players should have. I've asked, but that's where I am. To me, it's not necessarily, what do you want to hear from Paul at this point again and again and again? But there was a game. Are these guys good? I mean, like, honestly, do they want to play? Everybody else in basketball feels like they want to play. Like, at the end of football season, when teams were opting out of bowl games, it was like, yeah, we're done. This COVID thing, it's beat the hell out of us. Mm-hmm. I don't get that feeling with basketball teams. Do you? Even basketball teams who aren't having a good season. Do you get that feeling?
No. It's everything that we just saw happen the last week and a half on the women's side. The men playing it out, I've never felt that when they've taken the court, they haven't wanted to be there.
Just this team, just this program. And so, all right, 2460610. I got a ton more emails to get to you, and we'll do that. Hey, the demand for LASIK surgery has seen a sudden rise during the pandemic, but its benefits are going to last well beyond the pandemic. I got a bunch of reasons for you to call Coleman Vision. Dr. Stephen Coleman is the best in the business. And what he did for me was life-changing. But the primary reason for increased demand for LASIK is the work-from-home culture. And since patients aren't traveling to and from work as much, they're engaging in social activities anymore. They've got a lot more time to focus on medical procedures. So if you've been pushing off LASIK surgeries, now is a good time. You got the foggy glasses situation, right? Eyeglasses you got the mask on and they're getting flexed up. There's a lot of long-term value besides being convenient, improving your quality of life. LASIK also offers greater long-term value. The procedure essentially pays for itself in the long run because you no longer have to spend money on eye checkups and glasses and lenses and cleaners and designers and frames and all that stuff. And the bottom line is the convenience. It works. Guys, I couldn't see. I was wearing glasses and I opened my eyes after LASIK and it was clear and it was instant and it was obvious. I anchored the news the next morning. Dr. Coleman is the best. Coleman Vision is when I tell you it's amazing and life-changing, I'm not lying to you. And you're going to hear from athletes and people and call Coleman Vision. If you think you're a candidate for LASIK, if you thought about it, if you want to learn about it, go over and take a look and see what they're doing. ColemanVision.com has everything there. And then give them a call, make an appointment, and go visit them. They've become family to me over years, and I know you're going to love them as well. The number is 505-821-8880. That's 505-821-8880. Or visit them at ColemanVision.com.
New Balance Albuquerque.
Rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku! Oh! Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Bars Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam one home.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll just shoot it. He's going to go all the way.
All right, so we can talk global coaching search if you want. Wayne gave you a suggestion. Get off the $500,000 mark, $800,000. Go lower, go cheaper, fiscally, what he says, responsible. HB says, reply to Wayne, Jeff, going down that road, the only practical, and he used the word practical a number of times, practical move, if you really want to be fiscally responsible, is drop Lobo Athletics. Because if you pay you pay $150,000 for a coach, it's going to cost you more because you'll never see $15,411 in that dump again. Yeah, look, but what you're telling your fans is we're not competing. And Wayne is telling you that's what you should be telling your fans. Wayne is telling you should be dropping down to Division II, and you can't compete with San Diego State and Colorado State and Nevada, and that's not right. I mean, honestly, that's not right. You can, and you are competing, and your women just won a championship, and your men have won championships before. You can compete. This is your league. This is where you're going to be. This is where you should be. So I vehemently disagree with Wayne when it says you can't compete. But he's going to tell me, why do you have to pay a coach $1 million to compete? That's the market value. That's the caliber of coach. Well, what does the price tag mean? That's how good the coach is. That's what the market dictates. With all due respect, is a high school coach like and I guess maybe would a guy coach in Las Cruces High School or Berlin High School or pick your high school take the Lobo job at $200,000? He would, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Take in a heartbeat, right? But he's got no experience at that level, no experience recruiting, no experience coaching at that level. It's a different level. I mean, when you're, I don't know, when you're a pro at something. Bottom line is, it's not going that way, and I don't think it should. So, where do you go? Where do you go? And it's going to be interesting over the next few days to see who gets back into the market, JJ. I think that's going to be a big thing. And do you think that the San Diego State job, if that opens, affects what happens here, or are they looking at completely different pools of candidates?
There might be a little crossover just with a job open, as I'm sure there is with New Mexico and some of the other candidates they happen to be looking at with comparable jobs that are open at the moment across the mid-major landscape. But I think it probably wouldn't affect it all that much if San Diego State opens.
Yeah, I don't, like, is a Frank Martin somebody that San Diego State would look at also?
That you were trying to run it down, and when you start looking at what's left, would they try to go back to another former assistant, someone that was been there through some success, and then jump somewhere else? I don't think they go to back to Fresno State and hire their head coach right now. But
I'm looking at his staff right now. Is there anybody there? I mean, Chris Ackler or David Velasquez or somebody like that. I don't know. Tim Shelton's ever been a head coach. Justin Hudson's at Fresno State. Tony Bland's not really in the conversation anymore. So is the Steve Fisher era, the Steve Fisher influence then over at San Diego State? And I think the rest of this league would go, yeah, buddy, right? I mean, I think everybody in this league is hoping that Brian Dutcher gets the job at Minnesota, aren't they?
Yeah, it'd feel like it would slow down San Diego State just a bit if Brian Dutcher makes that move, but it's also when you want that consistency. You need good teams atop your conference. You need to chase down those teams to become more consistently a multi-bid league.
Well, my gut would tell me if Brian Dutcher leaves, that's a really attractive job because of where it is and what it is, and that they're going to have a couple bucks to spend, and they go for a big splash hire. And whether that means Greg Marshall, whether that means do they go after Rick Pitino, do they go after Frank Martin? Don't you think they're not going after the guy from Montana or Abilene Christian?
Probably not. And in this case, thinking about Rick Pitino, I know a lot of Lobo fans have thrown out that number. I don't think New Mexico would lure him away from Iona. I think San Diego State absolutely would. At this point in time, do you feel that Rick Pitino can do it clean enough for you? Because San Diego State's not a school that just needs to go on a run and then, if some things pop up, so be it. At least we had this moment. That's not what they're about.
They're in a different place that they were 20-something years ago when they hired Steve Fisher, right? Coming off of his allegations and I mean, how long did Rudy call in and call him old man cheater or whatever he called him for all those years, right? And there was the bitter Michigan piece to it, but obviously he did it. It feels like right. I mean, there haven't been any allegations over there. Dan says the Lady Lobos have 0, JJ, and I mean 0 NCAA chances. Jeffrey Juan Jose and returning Micah John. Listening to Bradbury bitch last night, is there a chance they turn down the WNIT? After crying about all the time they spent in hotel rooms with no home games, and the WNIT is another week on the road to bubble up minimum in 2 weeks if they get to Memphis. It's from Dan. They're not turning down the WNIT.
He said that they're going to continue to play. And, yeah, I get you. They're not an NCAA tournament team, but they go to the WNIT. So what is an okay level of frustration to exhibit? Because I got the furthest from that. And yes, I call their games. I'm the voice of Lobos. But, yes, Bradbury had that moment. What was it? It's like it feels like a month and a half ago now at this point in time.
It was when he called it incarceration. It was back
around. It felt like it was
the
incarceration.
Yeah.
But my goodness, like I think he's handled it pretty well after the fact, just showing up, playing basketball, getting his team to compete. And so he went to bat for his program, and all of a sudden that's complaining.
The other thing is he's asked about it in every press conference, right? It comes up, and when you're doing it with new people, right? So it's one thing with the local media, it doesn't come up as much. But then you start doing it with the Mountain West people, and then you do it with the Mountain West Network, and then you do it with all the reporters who were there, and it comes up, and they all want to ask the question, and so you have to address it. And your question is really, really valid. What is the right way to address it without coming across as whining? Because I'm going to tell you, when he did the whole incarceration thing, I call BS on that, right? I mean, stop it. I get the similarity where they're in their hotel room and they have to open the door and pick their tray up off, and that sucks. They weren't incarcerated, but it sucks. There's a long way from being incarcerated, but it sucks. And they had it really, really tough. But at what point is he allowed to talk about it as opposed to you think he's crying about it or bitching about it?
And I thought what he said when he met with the media last night was absolutely fair. He went to bat for his program, said that the players deserve all the credit for battling through the challenges, for getting to this moment, for raising expectations. And while, yeah, I don't think they're going to get an NCAA tournament berth, there's nothing wrong with him laying out, hey, the team did some crazy stuff on the road this year, give us a chance. Like, what? Sometimes I just don't get, like, the reaction to that, because to your point, like, those comments to me weren't just complaining. It was addressing a question, going to bat for your program at the end of the season.
It's also, and I think your key thing there is the end of the season, right? You're going to wrap it up. You're going to look back. I mean, Paul Weir, when they lose, is going to look back whenever it is. That's what happened. At the end of the season, you sum it up. And there is no way, absolutely impossible to sum up the Lobo women's basketball season without talking about the uniqueness of their situation, their travel, their COVID-related stuff, their hotel stays, their 51 straight days on the road. You can't tell the story without that, right?
And by the way, they still went out there and won the Mountain West. Yeah. A whole lot of complaining they did, just doing their job and winning an outright Mountain West Conference title.
All right, keep the great thoughts like that coming. So we got women are gonna decline the WNIT because they cried too much, and you should pay your basketball coach $150,000 and drop down to the RMAC. Keep great ideas coming. That's what we're here for. 505-246-0610. We're on ProView Networks, where Jay Pull and Josh are producing. Mike has got you on the radio side on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Gonna fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide coaches award program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes!
Get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Far ball again. Another steal by Davina Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham. Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, twine!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
look at this. They're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Agbaiosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack. Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Agbaiosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Ramos wants another!
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Got into it. And had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up.
All right, does freshness matter? According to Lobo Hobo, freshness matters. Jeff, not only with milk and beer, but with women's basketball squads. I don't think it's a coincidence that the two clubs in the bowl had their freshest legs going to Vegas. Fresno State and Wyoming, two teams who played the least amount of games going in the last couple of weeks. Is that there's something to it? Maybe. That's who's playing in the bowl tonight, JJ, for a chance to go to the big dance for the ladies. Fresno State
in Wyoming.
Yep. All right, Bruin James, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir. How you living?
Okay, the question is, New Mexico looking for a coach, right? And from what I understand, Patino's not doing too good at Iona and might get fired. Who knows? But what is New Mexico looking for in a coach? What do they want to recruit? California, Texas? I mean, where's the majority of their recruits come from? I mean, you got to get a guy that recruits good in certain states and certain places, right? You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what are they looking for? Just to get a guy in here
who can recruit and win?
Get him back up, or go ahead.
Yeah, who can recruit and win. I don't know, JJ, for this basketball program, over the last 2 decades, they've recruited all over. I think their best success has been California, would you say?
Yes, their biggest hits from there.
So, James, that's where I would look for some recruiting prowess would be California.
Okay, then you got to get a coach or some kind of guy that recruits that area pretty good, Look at that in his resume. And then the second one I want to talk to you about, the Lady Lobos. I think they're going to get in. They're going to get in as a 16 seed or even a play-in if the women have a play-in. I think they just might, listening to their resume, I think somebody, when they're doing the selection, will probably put a lot of that into consideration. And I think they just might make it because they did win the Mountain West. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, there you go. They did their due diligence. They weren't at home for a long time. Lived out of a suitcase and stuff like that. Somebody guaranteed either they're going to be a 16 seed or about 11 to 16 right in there. And
right.
I think they might get in. So
I'm going against you on that one, but I hope you're right.
Yeah, they might. All right. Well, you guys have a good one. Take care.
Later, James. First of all, at-larges are never 16s. Those 16s, 15s are usually, JJ, always automatic qualifiers of low-ranked conferences. Your lowest at-large is usually about a 12, sometimes a 13, right?
Yeah, that's good range.
Yeah. I hope he's right, man.
And by the way, women don't have an extra 4 teams that get in. It's 64 team filled.
Yeah, I just don't. All right. Doit loves the Lobo men tonight. He says, I love Lobo basketball chances. Jeff, Fresno State Wednesday. It's hard to beat a team 3 times after 2 very close contests in beautiful Fresno, California. Then the Lobos will play Colorado State. Do the Rams blow your socks off? I put that game as a pick 'em. Win those 2, and who knows? This is why they call it March Madness. I can very easily see Lobo basketball falling to the Aztecs in the finals. Really?
That's the kind of hope you're looking for, glass half full. But what if I told you that old cliche, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, there's nothing to back that up? And Grammer reminded everyone about that in his piece on the Lobos.
Yeah, statistically, it just doesn't pan out.
So a team that goes 2-0 versus a squad and plays in the 3rd time wins that game 71% of the time.
Yeah. 1 minute. It just it doesn't play out. All right, I mean, it's a nice, cute. Most cliches are based in fact. Not all, but most cliches are based in fact, right?
He's bringing the energy, though. He's ready to go.
They're just overused
tournament
statements. So, all right, 2460610 is how to get to us. We got another hour for you. Lobo women's basketball, Lobo men. You can get into the NFL stuff. Gonzaga getting pushed last night. Coaching carousel. PGA DeChambeauing. They're going to DeChambeau their course at the TBC Sawgrass. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Micah, J-Pull, Josh. They're having fun at ProView today. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610 Sports Animal.
settle. Looks to the inside, looks to the far side foot. Shot on and goal deflected in. No.
Dorian's going to go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Get it stripped. Dalion stripped him. Highland the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it. What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side, provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wild catch. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high window, scores it as foul.
With two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and J.J. Buck.
It's just unfortunate, I guess. Give Fresno credit. They made the plays down the stretch to win, and it's a credit to them. But I guess what I've been telling you guys for a while now is, we had everything stacked against us all year long, and these kids never made an excuse, never batted an eye, just kept on winning and never complained. And we got no favors from anybody. I mean, from our own state to our own league to our own whatever, and they just kept on fighting and fighting and fighting. And I couldn't be more proud of a team than this right here.
That's Mike Bradbury, Lobo women's basketball coach, after being eliminated from the conference tournament yesterday. 77-72. Fresno State beat them in the semifinals. JJ, I don't think it's excuses, and at the end of the year, you are going to reevaluate the year. And I don't think he's wrong. When he says he got no favors from his conference, from his state, and his ladies just went. And they won the league championship. They didn't win the conference tournament, but they won the league championship. After scheduling issues, it was tough. And they won. They didn't win last night. Not going to the NCAA tournament, I don't think. But I think it was a fair analysis by Bradbury when it was all said and done.
It was in that situation. I didn't hear a coach that was making a ton of excuses, complaining about everything. It was a situation that he was addressing. Yeah, this is what we went through, and he put all the credit back on the players, and they responded, and they got better as a basketball team. And in a situation, it was hard to get better as a team when you don't have as much practice time as you like, when you don't have the gym availability to even just go put shots up, find a bit of a rhythm at random times in a day when it becomes available. And it was a team that was in a one-possession game with Fresno State, who, if you didn't watch, let me tell you, that is the second best and now the best team that's left in the Mountain West Conference is Fresno State. Wyoming is playing at an incredible level out of nowhere on what they've done in their tournament games. But Fresno State's a real deal. They have two sophomore guards that are phenomenal. They have Mountain West Player of the Year and Haley Cavender. And with all that, the Lobos are right there, one-possession game. Chance to take the lead, chance to tie it, came up short.
Yeah. So they'll wait and see what happens in the postseason, most likely the WNIT, and play again and go on and continue their season. And you can get in on it. I still got a bunch of emails and your comments. Mike says, out of sight, out of mind, Jeff Lou. I sure would have been nice to watch that game on TV last night. And before you say internet, that net broadcast was awful, almost unwatchable. It's from Mike. Okay.
Was it the commentary? The stream was one of the better ones we've dealt with this year.
Yeah, I thought it was broadcast quality too. I honestly, I'm okay. I'm not going to tell you what you saw isn't what you saw. My stream was good. I thought the quality, the replays, the commentators were fine. Okay. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. 2460610 is how you get in. That's area code 505. Emails are coming in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Watch us on the Facebook, the OD and the AM. Jay Pohl and Josh are producing for ProView Networks there. And, of course, call Micah at 505-246-0610. Rod says you and me are like one on this issue, Jefferson. He's reiterating – JJ, I've talked about the radio silence from the men's team, and it's been odd. It's been pick your term. He said, I just saw a story on how the Mouthpiece Department is winning all these awards. Apparently outreach doesn't include notifying the public on Lobo basketball, the Lady Lobos. It's pretty much been radio silence from this award-winning, and he put it in quotes, marketing and Mouthpiece Department. Maybe Micah can play silent running, and he sent me a link. Just not a lot coming out. So I guess the conversation is, what do you expect tonight? and then where do you want this to go in regards to the coaching search? And again, The Athletic put out a story yesterday with the 3 names that were at the top of the list, everybody's list when this started. Frank Martin at South Carolina, Tim Miles, who's really pushing hard for this job, and Damon Stoudemire, the head coach at Pacific. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hiring a UNM men's basketball coach is as much investment exercise as it is an expense. And I don't like to use cliches, but if you hire a splash name coach with a pedigree, and if he wins here at UNM, you're talking about an economic windfall over time that will offset the cost. Again, I don't mean to be overly obsessed with Alfred, but he is a paragon of that example. Think about when Paragon was at the height of his powers. The pit was sold out. And we're talking about fans not just calling in the show and appreciating the program. No offense to that, but you talk about people who are spending money. Pit sold out, 15,000 a game pretty much. Corporate sponsors were at their height. The skyboxes were full. They were winning, and they were relevant. And it's not only good for the psychology of the fan base, but the economic windfall is absolutely unprecedented when you have that kind of winning and relevance. So when you have callers that say, oh, we don't want to spend $1,300,000, not only are you not competing with what you call market value, but if you do it correctly, and that splash name with a pedigree wins here over time, it pays for itself in spades.
I think this hire is going to say a lot, too, to your fan base. What are you willing to do? What's your commitment to men's basketball? You're at a critical point with people like you, Jeffrey. Are you coming back or are you not? And a lot of it's going to depend on the direction you go with this hire. And I think whether it's you as a season ticket holder or people as a corporate partner, a lot of people are sitting back waiting to see what becomes of this hire, what direction they go, and basically show me the commitment. You want me to show you the commitment, you show me that you're making the commitment.
I do believe the program is at a precipice, a crossroads, if you will, and the trajectory of the program over time is at play right now, to your point. The devotion, the commitment to the program, it's going to be there. And keep in mind, if Eddie hires somebody and spends a lot of money, he's going to be highly criticized. But I promise you, if that person that he invests in has a pedigree and is a splash name and does win and is relevant over time, the program will be resurrected almost immediately. And I think that's the factor here that needs to be discussed further, and you've done a good job of doing so. But there just isn't the patience for a lot of us who spend a lot of money over time. We want immediate results, and
so who do you
came in here and pretty much immediately started winning. I think Bliss did too, as I recall. Bob King, Ellenberger, of course, inherited a good program, but the patience factor for people who actually spend money, I think that's at play. And that's why this investment with the splash name, with a pedigree, it thwarts away the patient piece, and we can look for immediate results. Now, I'm not expecting to win the league next year, but I do expect, top 3, top 4 finish immediately, and some pretty significant recruits right away. And so, to your point, we're at a precipice. The trajectory of the entire program is right now in the balance.
I think that's right. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank
JJ,
you.
I think there's a lot of people like Jeffrey, fans, season ticket holders, supporters, but I think corporate sponsors too, who are might coming back. This was a year that it's a reset for any of us in the event and sports industry, bowl games, athletic departments. It's a reset. You almost ice dopes. You got to go back and really woo everybody. And what do you selling corporate sponsors are? And I think this hire's gonna say to people, and it's gonna be interpreted differently by everybody, right? But what's your commitment? What are you doing? Are you gonna become an RMAC school and go Wayne's way and put 3,000 people in the pit, or are you gonna try to compete with the big boys and let's make a run at it? And who'd you hire?
Absolutely. There's the splash. There's the non-splash, but is it someone that's up and coming and has the momentum to take over? What are you willing to take on? got some good info, actually, more on Frank Martin and then some of the issues he's actually had very recently with an assistant coach, Lamont Evans, who was implicated in all the bribery stuff that we've seen in South Carolina, being placed on 2 years probation this year. So
the assistant was, or Frank Martin was?
Well, the assistant was, but he was with Frank Martin for some time. And South Carolina was hit with penalties in this. So it's not on Frank Martin, but it's a close assistant of his, Lamont Evans, that was hit, and he was with him for a while and is a prominent recruiter for him. So there's things like that are going to pop up, and you're like, oh, okay, let's look at this situation, and what are you willing to do in terms of second chances if you feel that the name is big enough to overcome a situation like that, much like we talk about Steve Alford and some of the baggage that he had with him from Iowa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and people were willing to look past that because he won. Ren says Tim McKay, talking about Tim Miles, but kind of / Richie McKay. He says, Jeff, I think global fans' reaction to him will be the same as another former CSPU coach, Richie McKay. Remember when Richie was hired? There was a lot of, and Richie's dad played here. Remember, Richie wanted to be here, and it was, he'd been at Oregon State. He was at CSU. But yeah, there wasn't a lot. Now there's a lot of love for Richie because now he's winning. He's going to his third straight NCAA tournament at Liberty. He's having success. He was on Virginia's staff and back at his second run at Liberty. But when he was here, it was a whole lot of, how does Carlisle do that? How does it go? Right? That's where we are. All right, 505-246-0610. Come on in. 888-922-0610. You can email Jeff at 610, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Hey, who's watching your home? Who does home security at your house? You might say, I don't need it. Don't wait until you're a victim. Don't wait too long. We live in Albuquerque. That extra layer of security, for me, has given my family that extra layer of just reassurance, that peace of mind. International Protective Service has been doing this for a long time. They've been watching my house for years now, and I see the car out in front every day. Every day they come by at least once. You go out of town, they pick up the newspapers and they pick up the mail. They roll the garbage cans to the curb and back on garbage day. They give your home that lived-in look, and they keep the bad guys away. And they're not going anywhere. They're not selling out. Aaron and his staff are invested in this community. They care about your home. They care about your business. They care about your security as if it's their own. Let the highly trained armed guards, 24-hour patrols of IPS protect what's important to you. Don't wait until you're a victim. Call IPS. Protect what's important to you. Their number is 505-897-2420. That's area code 505-897-2420. You can see them online at ipsglobal.com.
The Sports Bar with
here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes a.
Ramos, nice jump stop through the.
Play with the gambling a little bit. Oh, there's that.
Hill, little step, high window.
Got the second.
To the middle.
Here we go, 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins, window, finishes.
There's a run coming
from
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime. Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh. There's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
and Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. Here comes Las Brown. You can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition, 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan. Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
What did you say to the team after this one?
The only team in the history of New Mexico women's basketball that won an outright championship. You got something to be proud of, and when you're the first one, they can never take it away. Okay? You know, now it's going to be done again. And we'll see how many of these kids come back and or if they all transfer, you know. But we would, you know, we would have a shot again. So it'll be done again by this team or when, just like I told them, when they're all gone, I'm gone, we're all gone, somebody will do it again. But nobody will ever do it first. So that's what we talked about. I mean, that's a hurt bunch in there. And, you know, there's people that fail in life, and, you know, it's because they don't ever want to have this feeling, okay? So if you never try or you never really invest in something, when you get beat, you really don't get beat, you know, so it doesn't hurt, right? Okay, well, we don't mind, we don't like it, but we're willing to have this feeling because when you really invest, you also have that feeling that we had on Friday night.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, is what he just said. That was Mike Bradbury after losing last night. Lubbock women lose 77-72 in the semifinal of the Mountain West Conference tournament to Fresno State. I think the most interesting thing in there, JJ, is they may all transfer, or like what does that mean? Are we looking at a complete rehaul? Is everybody on that team transferring? Is he out of here? Like, why would they all transfer? What don't I know? What don't I understand from that statement?
I think you just word salad. I really don't think there's anything where the entire team is transferring.
So does he just say, I mean, is he a kind of guy that just throws stuff out there that doesn't mean anything?
Well, I didn't take it anything like that. If this entire team transfers, then I have no idea what's going on.
I mean, I've seen so much weird crap go on, I don't even know anymore. But that's the first I heard him was last night say this entire team may transfer. What did he say? What was the exact? I hate paraphrasing something as sensitive as that. They may all transfer or something. But that like, tell me that doesn't jump right out of the speakers into your brain.
It didn't for me.
It sure did for me. All right. And maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Well, because I think he used it as whether all of them come back or all of them transfer. So, like, just vaguely talking about the roster. But if there's something there I'm missing, then I'm willing to listen. But I doubt the entire team is transferring after this season.
Yeah, just scratched my head, pulling my hoodie off my head. Ow. All right. That wouldn't. Ow. Am I leaking? All right, that one was bizarre to me. All right, this one is a reply to Wayne. Wayne is the gentleman who calls in and says, no, I already read you that reply to Wayne. Did the voice, J.J. Buck, give his prediction for tonight's game? Jeff, wouldn't it be so Mountain West Conference for the 7th-seeded Wyoming to win the belt, go in as a 15 seed and lose by 50 in the NCAAs? I don't know. I think Fresno State wins this game tonight, and I think they win handily. I think Wyoming's had a hell of a run, and they're out of gas.
I don't know if they're out of gas. They had, I think, like a 22-day period where they didn't play a game ahead of Vegas, but it's they're playing at a ridiculous level. They're that team that got hot at the right time, but I think Fresno State's a better basketball team. Fresno State wins the Mountain West tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, we've been talking, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the ladies last night, talking about the men tonight, and the coaching search and where it's going, where do you want it to go. Frank Martin's name has certainly come up. Les says teachers equal Frank Martin, question marks. Jeff, I learned teachers apparently are all working pro bono because the local news stations keep reporting APS might not be able to open if enough teachers don't volunteer to come back in person. Ditto with Frank Martin. I would assume whatever buyout he gets from South Carolina would be reduced by future coaching employment income. So why would he come here and work for free? So it's an interesting concept, right? Let's just say his buyout. Let me just throw an even number at you. Let's say his buyout is $1.5 million a year for the next X number. Let's say I'm absolutely pulling numbers out for illustration because I don't know. But let's say he gets $1.5 million over the next each year for the next 4 years. So that's $6 million that they owe him. And so but it's reduced by, if he gets $800,000 here, then he only gets $700,000. So he's getting the same amount. Why would he work if he's getting the same amount of money, JJ? And I think the answer to that is, A, is he a competitor? Does he want to work, or does he want to sit at home and sit on his stacks? Or the other piece is, does he want to just be remembered for what he did at South Carolina, or does he want to come out and prove that he can win again and rebuild a program? And is there a relationship with Eddie? Coaches all over the place. Let me give you one other piece. The other piece is, and this was done with Paul Weir's deal, you can have that mitigation piece taken out. You can negotiate that out. Look, I'm not giving this is the number no matter whether I get a job or not. That can be negotiated as well. But there's been a lot of talk. Hell, he's going to make that money, the same amount of money if he works or if he doesn't, so why work? Why not sit on the beach for a while?
It's all the individual, how they feel. A lot of guys want to jump right back into it, don't want to wait, still feel hungry enough. And when you look at Frank Martin, he signed through 2022, so one more year on his deal, making $2.6 million this year, $2.7 million next year at South Carolina.
Yeah, all right. So he signed through next year. Does he want to get in? Is this a job that he wants, or is he willing to wait until next year and there's something better that comes up? And would he be a candidate for that? I mean, look, there's a lot of reasons why. Lobo Hobo says, does Jeffrey have any coaching experience, Jeff? If I was a player, I'd run through the wall for that guy. All right. Omar says, does Mike Bradbury sound just like Coach Jones, Jeff? He kind of does. There's a little Jerry Jones in him in there. When you listen, there's a lot of uhs, a lot of you-knows, Yeah, no, there's a lot of Mike Bradbury or Jerry Jones and Mike Bradbury. Yeah, I get that. JJ, so I can't not go back to this. I don't want to blow this up and make this the story of the day, but are you anticipating a lot of transfers Off of this Lobo women's basketball team? No.
Jeff, I really, honestly, I don't have any insight at this moment in time, but I think it was just word salad. Going from if everyone comes back to everyone leaves.
Okay.
Someone else down the road is going to win a conference championship, and no one's going to be the first outright conference champion.
Yeah, well, and that's right. They will always be the first, and no matter who comes and who goes. And okay, all right. Lobo men play tonight. We'll get more into that. I want to get into some other stuff. And who'd you tell me? Dan, right there, Micah.
Yep, Dan.
All right, let's do that before we go to break. Dan, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Dan.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good, Daniel. How are you?
I'm vertical, brother, so that's a good thing. Hey, I won't take long. I just wanted to call and do a shout-out to JJ and Nikki, man. They're doing a great job. I've so enjoyed the play-by-play that they've been putting out. From northern New Mexico, Jeff, back in the day, we used to listen to all the games on the radio, We'd all huddle around the radio or around the truck and listen to the games, and it kind of brought me back to that. And they've just done a great job. I feel them, the enthusiasm, and I just wanted to call it. It's easy to bitch about stuff, but I wanted to call and say something positive and say, hey, good job. We really appreciate you guys. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that.
Daniel, thank you. That's really nice of you.
Go ahead.
No, thanks. It's nice of you to make that call. Be well up there. Appreciate you chiming in on that.
Okay, guys. Have a great day.
JJ, you guys have done a great job, and a great job. And you guys haven't had ideal circumstances either, man. You're calling games off of a video feed. You're not there. You're not courtside, except for the 2 games last week, and the enthusiasm. And just listen to your progression over the years. It's been so good. You know how big of a fan I am of JJ Buck. And I'm so glad you got this opportunity, but I knew you would run with this. I'm really proud of what you become as a play-by-play guy, man. You're killing it, and I'm glad Dan called in and acknowledged that because you've done a great job on this.
Well, I also got to say it's awesome to work with Nikki. She's such an easy, fun person to get along with, and it was pretty much seamless, and our chemistry right off the bat felt really good. And her there dropping the knowledge, and this year, while it has been different, it's been amazing to have her there for almost every single game given the circumstances, and just makes for a better broadcast with her experience. She's able to see things that I'm just not able to see at certain times, and that's the fun dynamic and what I enjoy about being able to broadcast the game and present that story to the fans.
No, you guys are killing it, man. You've done a great job, and you're not done. And I'm glad. Keep up the good work, because I think, obviously, fans are really enjoying it. All right, 505-246-0610. NFL salary cap is out for this year. It is decreased. We'll let you know by how much and what it is, and what that really means to you. It's just going to be monopoly money to you and me, but what that really means. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Of course, watch the show on our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. Jay Pohl and Josh are producing for you on the ProView Network side. Micah produces on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
The unrivaled king of sports radio.
Smith's got a fire in first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. It's into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. They're looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Cookie. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Javier now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up, and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake, double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds, into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portell.
Davis in the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown.
The NFL Players Association agreed to a salary cap for the next year. Without context, it means nothing, but I will put it in context for you. $182.5 million per team, which is basically what they were anticipating, an 8% decrease from last season. So that's going to force teams to make tough decisions on rosters over the next few days, the next few weeks. The cap limits have gone up every year since 2011 because there had been rising league revenues. But obviously, attendance dropped last year. I think you knew that there was a global pandemic going on. So with the drop in attendance, the revenue dropped 92%, and that led to this. So last year it was 98.2 million. Now it's going to drop down to the 182 million. So it's all monopoly money to you and me. But to them, how they fit the puzzle together. This is no surprise, JJ.
No, they knew it was coming, and that's why we're going to see a lot more veterans hit the market in the coming weeks. The contracts that you feel you can get rid of without taking a big-time cap hit. And it's going to lead to some interesting decisions for solid football teams that might be able to get one of these guys on a discounted rate to bring in, whether it's Emmanuel Sanders, guys along those lines that might not be, of course, your 1A option now. But if you're looking at, all right, you need a number 3, you need a guy to fill out your roster, there's going to be some pretty good players out there.
I think also that's what where Jerry didn't totally get fleeced when you talk about how he structured Dak's contract with all this money. His cap hit's only 22 point something this year, and it's going to go up. You're anticipating the cap going up the next few years, the television deal in 3 years. And so, by the way, what's Deshaun Watson going to get? What's Josh Allen going to get? I mean, with Dak getting this kind of deal, those guys are just licking their chops, eh?
Well, Deshaun Watson has signed his deal.
He's going to get
so it's well in 4 or 5 years. But yeah, I think Josh Allen is the one that's in line to hit the next big home run. There's Baker Mayfield, which good, but I'm not going crazy thinking I want to give Baker Mayfield $140 million guaranteed. The next one that you're looking at going, this is going to be wow, it's Josh Allen.
Yep. All right, who'd you tell me, Michael? Lou? Is that what you said?
Lou.
Good morning, Lou. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Lou.
Yeah, I got a question on the Lobos coaching search. So, Frank Martin, and I know you mentioned Damon Stoudemire, and some other guys. I don't know. I'm not saying yes or no or anything about them, but like, are they available? I mean, like Frank Martin was mentioned the first day when Weir resigned. That Friday night, like, is he having problems in South Carolina, or is
he
get
is.
rid of him, or does he want out, or same thing with Stoudemire, or some of these other guys that are actually coaching right now? Are they on the outs where they're at? Like, why are they so available?
All right, so here's the deal on Frank Martin. They're struggling, and he's on the hot seat, and there's a big belief that he's going to get fired at South Carolina. That would make him available. I think there's no chance if he doesn't get fired. They got run by Kentucky. They start their tournament play, I think, today. There's a big belief down there that he's going to get fired. So if he does, he's on the market. Damon Stoudemire would be available just because you would think this would pay more and be a more attractive job than Pacific. Tim Miles, who's the other big name, is not coaching. He's doing TV right now. But this happens all the time, right? I mean, you see Brian Dutcher, who's got a job at San Diego State, is being mentioned for Minnesota. So it happens all the time as far as guys who have jobs are named for jobs that are open. But that's the situation with those two gentlemen.
What's going on in Minnesota? I thought Patino was doing pretty good up there.
Ricky
Patino.
Yeah, Ricky's probably going to get fired as soon as they're done in the Big Ten tournament.
Really?
As soon as
Okay,
today.
I haven't followed him that close, but I thought he was doing okay. But okay, whatever.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just somebody brought up earlier today. You were talking about recruiting, and the thing with Frank Martin. I don't know anything about the guy, but he's always been a Midwest East Coast guy, right? I don't know what connection he has in California or Texas.
Yep, I don't know either, but then that's where you start hiring
your staff. I think that's really important, too.
I do, too.
Because we do recruit those two places.
He can recruit Texas.
And a little bit Arizona.
Now, when he was at Kansas State,
he thing these days is recruiting, and you got to have contacts and connections in these places to get in, just to get a meeting with these kids.
No doubt.
They're high school coaches or AAU coaches or whatever. So I'm sure that's going into the equation. So
yeah.
Okay,
thanks, man.
Well, thanks for the answer.
All right. When Frank Martin was at Kansas State, he recruited Texas. I mean, if you're going to be in the Big 12, you recruit Texas. Where did he recruited Michael Beasley, right? Michael Beasley played for him, right? I'm almost certain.
He was at Kansas State 2007 and 2012.
Yeah, so I'm almost certain, and he went to the NCAA tournament. Got up to when the 2010-11 season, they got as high as third in the poll. So he recruited Texas at that point. Now, is Texas your spot? Look, it doesn't have to be what it was. I just told you, somebody asked about the recruiting, and I said I would tell you the most success has been California, but that's not their only success. Has been California. They're most consistent when you talk about Kendall Williams and Drew Gordon and Tony Snell, right? Tony Snell was Riverside. He played with Kawhi Leonard. So they've had success all over the place, guys. Australia, right? Bradley, all over. So I don't know that there's one way, but that, it's interesting, and it's not odd for a coach to have a job and his name is up for other jobs. I mean, how many times did Steve Alford's name come up for jobs while he was here?
And I do think
never
with Frank Martin,
Missouri.
No, and I do think with Frank Martin, it would be interesting to dive into the Lamont Evans stuff. a little bit more and just
You
how
have to.
high on his recruiting list was Lamont Evans, because Evans worked at South Carolina for 4 seasons before leaving for Oklahoma State following the 2015-2016 season, and he pleaded guilty to bribery conspiracy for taking some $22,000 to steer basketball prospects to South Carolina and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, you're going to have to – I guess I don't know enough about it, JJ. You're going to have to help me with it and dive into it with me, because I just don't know.
And that's one of the names, as we're talking about these stories of the recruiting scandals that have popped up, and he was one of the assistants that was implicated in it, actually pleaded guilty. So you just kind of start looking at that timeline of what he was recruiting, who was he recruiting, what did the teams look like, and what does Frank Martin South Carolina teams look like over the last few years.
Yeah, obviously that's going to be part of the puzzle. It's going to have to be. All right, 246-0610, 888-922-0610. Got another segment for you. If you want to get in, you can. Emails jeff@sportsanimal.com, sportsanimалabq.com, jj@sportsanimалabq.com.
As we're sitting here talking about recruiting, putting yourself in a better place, well, think about your health and getting it to the next level. Let me introduce you to F45 training. F45 training is a mix of circuit and high-intensity training in 45-minute classes. No wasted time, and I am loving it so far. It's a different class every single day. Certified trainers are on site to help you through the workouts, motivate you, and make sure that you're going to be focused on your best workout. F45 training is also an environment that you're going to feel comfortable in. So check out f45training.com, download the F45 app to take a look at the schedule of classes, and then book your class, because they're still managing class sizes. So you're not going to go in there and feel overwhelmed. You're going to have your space. They have all the stations set up for the class. So you go in there, get the job done, feel good about yourself, and then get on with your day. F45 is located at 5920 Holly Northeast, Paseo and I-25, so really good access from wherever you're coming from throughout the city. And you can sign up for a 7-day free trial. If you're uncertain, I was a little nervous getting back into the gym. What is this going to be like, not only for me finally trying to hit it hard again, but just with everything that's gone on, you can sign up for the 7-day free trial. And let me tell you, once you get in there, you're going to like it and going to want to come back. And what I love as well is they're open 7 days a week. So if you have a busy week, there's a lot going on. You can catch up on the weekend. The Saturday morning and Sunday morning classes are good to get your workouts in. So check them out, f45training.com. Download the F45 app. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
He used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
DJ Bustos brings it up. Bars Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam one home.
Let's get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South
You drive Jeff, JJ, Micah, J. Pole, and Josh. If you want to get on the basketball stuff, you can. We're still here for you at 505-246-0610. JJ, the Players' Championship will tee off tomorrow at TPC Sawgrass outside of Jacksonville down in Ponte Vedra Beach. Beautiful, iconic course with the island green on 17. And then 18 is a really famous finishing hole where you've got that big water feature, way bigger than the fairway down the left side. You drive it down the right side, and the water's always in play. It's a thin fairway. And DeChambeau's been reshaping courses. He hit the ball a mile last week at Bay Hill. And now he's talking about on 18 taking a different path, going over the water the other way into the 9th fairway, and then coming over the water and giving himself a different look. And basically they said, nope, that's out of bounds. Left of the water is out of bounds. I know you don't like this. You think they're in some ways DeChambeauing the course. There's going to be spectators over there that would get hit in the head with a ball coming from a completely different fairway. There's players that would be playing in that fairway. I mean, it would like for him to do that and players to start doing that would totally screw up the pace of play and everything. So they said, nope, you're not going to do that. That's out of bounds and take it away. You don't like that?
Well, when you think about actually hitting it into a different fairway in a tournament setting, you understand how that can be a problem, and is it really that much of an advantage when you look at the angles of where he'd be hitting his second shot versus a good drive on the 18th. He'd be coming in a little bit shorter, but still there's a lot of variables involved going to the 8th. Ultimately, I get it if there are spectators on the right side of that fairway, and then if they're in play, it could become a problem. So in that case, I get it, but also it's one, you don't want to just start putting these in just because you might be hitting it in different places, because this is exciting. People tuned in for this. They were talking about it. Bryson DeChambeau is the heel you need. He's that guy that, man, he's good, but I don't like him. Like, you want this in the game. Now, I'm listening to the conversation about not hitting it into an opposing fairway on purpose when you're playing a tournament. But outside of that, man, let this dude bomb it and see what happens.
Yeah, he can still bomb it and take a way more aggressive line over the water on 18 than anybody else. He can still do that. And in actuality, what he was thinking of doing would be going over the water less and just taking a different route in and redesigning the golf course the way he wants to play it. And they said, no, you're not going to do that. That's out of bounds. We can't have guys. Now, guys will hit into another fairway. I've hit. I tee off on 8 and end up in 9 all the time at Canyon Club. And I'm like, hey, sorry, I'll get out of your way. I'm in the middle of their fairway while they're coming up, and I hit it back over. I know Josh has done that before. J-Pole hits it straight all the time. But we've all hit it into somebody else's fairway unintentionally. And there's, by the way, there's those spectators that we're doming that are not looking, that are looking the other way. I got no problem with this. Let the guy, by the way, he is fascinating. He is fascinating. But let him do it. But I'm glad they did this. Jay, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Jay. How you living?
Pretty good. How are y'all doing this morning?
Good, man. What's happening?
So I just wanted to get in on this Frank Martin thing before y'all wrap it up here. But so Frank Martin, Jeffrey mentioned something. What if you have a splash hire and they do well? So here's a question I'm going to ask. You have a splash hire, and he doesn't do well. What happens to this program? Now, I know that's something people don't want to hear or don't want to think about, but what really happens to this program?
I'll tell you the answer. So first of all, there's no exact science to this, right? So you're right. What happens? And the illustration is South Carolina. They made the splash hire with Frank Martin. They went to the NCAA. They went to the Final Four once, and then it didn't work. That's where it is. Ricky Pitino at Minnesota was somewhat of a splash hire because of his name. Look, it happens. There's no guarantee that you hire a big name, and so you end up buying them out and moving on 4 years later. That's what happens.
Right. And South Carolina can do that because it's an SEC school and it's basically a football school. Minnesota's a Big Ten school. They have the funds to do that. Now, with Frank Martin actually has a below 500 record since his Final Four run.
That's correct.
It's like, and JJ had mentioned something about a top recruiter not being a part of that or not being a part of that or what have you. But the thing is, there is no guarantee that Frank Martin comes here and turns this program around. It's actually a little more, it might be, given what's gone on recently, it might be a little more plausible that this program just becomes basically just a 4th, 5th place program in this conference. That's a very good, that could very well be what the trajectory of this program is.
All right, so let me correct you real quick, by the way. He's 42-36 since the NCAA went 7-11, 11-7, 10-8, and 4-10. Actually, I'm just looking at conference. No, I'm just conference.
Records.
That's just conference. Yeah, just conference. You're right.
Yeah, see, I want to say it's like 3 games below 500.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So it really, I'm one of these people that believes that if you're going to hire a coach, hire him on the way up. I mean, Colorado State, Utah State did great jobs hiring coaches on the way up.
So who do you like?
There's a lot of coaches. I mean, you could go with Mark Madsen. I think I emailed you one, but yeah, Mark Madsen from Utah Valley, and he's a guy that's done a great job at a school that doesn't have a lot of resources. In a conference, and granted, I know that Lobo fans are not happy with the WAC experience thing, but his predecessor is at BYU, and he's done something at BYU that a lot of teams haven't done.
Hey Jay, we're out of time. Yeah, I've got to hit it. It's a great call, and it's something we'll continue with tomorrow. But thank you for the call, JJ. Good stuff today. And really good conversation. So, I'm down. J-Pole, Josh, great job from your end. Micah, good to have you back. Welcome home. JJ, have a great day. No game for you today. I know you were all ready to go, which is kind of a bummer, but no game today.
Have a day, y'all.
All right, be good. Jim Rome show is next. Dan Patrick show's after that. No, it's not. The Cowherd show. The Herd is after that. Sports Bar comes on this afternoon at 4. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Lobo Basketball News Radio, KKOB, 4:30. They'll play in the conference tournament against Fresno State. Be good to each other, boys and girls. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.
Rise and fire. He's fouled.
He used to coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the. Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And hot it. Sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous. Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam on home.